This is the StarCraft 2 BSG Cup number 6. We are at the second semi-finals. The second best of 3 we'll have tonight. Winner of this will move on and play Flame and Fly in the finals. This map is Shakura's Plateau. In the top right position we have JDGaga is the red Terran player, and in the bottom left hand corner we have Guppy, who is playing as random but got the pink Zerg. Shakura's Plateau is quite an awesome map for macro games, long games, because the rush distances are quite long. It takes a while to get from one base to another. Obviously you cannot spawn directly above your opponent, that would just be crazy. It'd be like shorter than Steps of War. But with a long distance, and I mean, I think I counted 14 or 16 bases on this map. It is so nuts for like macro games. I don't think I've ever seen anyone take every base, whereas on most other maps, kind of have. But hey, JD choosing to build a supply depot right here. Curious. Obviously, his opponent is random, doesn't know he is Zerg. I would prefer to be cautious and build up and wall off, but that's just me. He will scout it out. Obviously, keep your eye on when he scouts it out and see what he does as a reaction. Obviously, he wants to get his racks up fairly quickly, so building a supply depot there is smart. But he's going to see this drone in a second here. He's going to realize he needed to wall off. Obviously, against Zerg, always wall off. Bang, always hits. So now he knows he's got a Zerg opponent, so be curious to see if he does try and build his next supply depot here and try and maybe fly the barracks over there, or maybe just the other alternative is to just put a lot of pressure on your opponent so he has no time to attack, but then you're still vulnerable to counter attacks. Obviously speed Zerglings are quite quick. Looks like he is fast expanding here, Guppy. We did watch him against Zia, and his Zerg was actually very strong. For a random player, I expected most Zerg players when you play random are quite weak, because it's probably the hardest race to sort of learn. It takes them a while, but Guppy had a real good understanding of it. He went really drone heavy, which is what you need to do, and built units when he needed to build units. So hey, we'll have to see how JD can go in this matchup now. Obviously expanding would be a good idea here. Obviously have a nice one ramp here. The backdoor ramp isn't really viable in these positions because there are two rocks that are very out of position to try and take down. Leaves you very open to just a front on attack if you try that. Let's keep an eye on what kind of builds JD goes, where he's going to go for sort of like a 1-1-1. Second refinery fairly early, so that might give you a hint. Might look at sort of maybe some Banshee play, maybe something like that. Have to wait and see what he does here. We have a Marine at the ramp here, just looking to destroy the scout. Let's have a look at this base here. What's this? A second hatchery. Wow, okay. I've never seen anything like this before. Going for 3 hatches, so only just getting a spawning pool now. Looks like he did get a spawning pool before he got this third hatchery here, but that is very interesting. I'm curious as to why he did that, to be honest with you. Like, as a Zerg player, you do want to get those hatcheries going, and it does make sense to get later on a hatchery in your own main base just for the lava. But this early on, I'm not sure if it's a great idea. I mean, you could always build it at another base, but hey, we'll have to see how this pays off later on in the game, whether he maybe just wants it for creep. I mean, you might want to wall off there, but obviously you got your expansion. I'm just thinking out loud at reasons behind that. I've never seen it before. JD here just looking at getting some macro up. He is going for the factory. He's building a reactor here. Dare I say, when this factory is done, he will swap it over with this reactor and get out a few Helions and try and do some harassment. Because of the late spawning pool, I dare say that could be some good harassment. But we'll have to wait and see. It's a long map, it does take a while. We have the Star Fort here going down now, so this is a 1-1-1 build. This barracks, in fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see a tech lab built for the Star Fort now, so a fairly common build. There's a tech lab there, so I see it's quite a lot. It's actually a fairly older build. A lot of players choosing now just to go to heavy marine and doing pushes like that. But with this build, basically you get Helions out. Sometimes you're going with 3, maybe 5, maybe 4. Obviously he didn't build one before he got his reactor on there, so probably looking at about 4. I don't think 2 will do quite enough. And then what you do is you get the starport down, obviously, and then you get swap it with the tech lab, get some Banshees out. And what the Helions do is it forces you to go Roach. Roaches counter the Helions quite well. But the problem is that once you change it to go with Banshee, he has absolutely no anti-air because he's gone Roach. So Queens, obviously, you need to use to defend there, and you just keep following up with Banshees and then expand from there. Going with 2 Helions here, this is scouted. He does have this tower here, so he knows it's coming. 6 Zerglings without speed have absolutely no chance at all of killing this. You have a few more Zerglings coming out, but without speed, they're not going to do much with some good micro. Looks like JD knows how to micro this. He's pulling back and just doing some harassment. There's a lot of Zerglings trying to move in. A bit greedy there. You don't want to move in because if you get pinned against the wall, you do get killed off quite easily. Helion's doing sick damage here, but they are just taking damage of their own, especially against speed Zerglings. Checking, speed is almost halfway done, but what this is doing, just these 2 Helions, 18 Zerglings being built now. That's over the top. You do not need this many Zerglings. And you know what? You can go and kill these 4 drones here too as well. So forcing him to A, make Zerglings, which is huge, and B, not making drones. Just checking the income tab real quickly. He has an advantage as far as harvesters go right now. For losing 1, I mean, you might look like he just killed a few drones, but he forced so many drones not to be built, if that makes any sense. Just check the drone count again. He's starting to build them back now, so he's getting 7 straight up. Speed is now done. Helions, without Blue Flame against Speedlings, really don't do too well. Speedlings can just get surrounds, and once they surround, they just pretty much fall apart. We do see dropships coming up though, so interesting there. He was actually using this barracks here to get stim for his units. We do see Zerglings here. The problem with forcing Zerglings is he'll then just use them to attack. So you have to hold out against this. This is actually pretty bad, actually. This is a lot of Zerglings here with speed. Marauders out as well. Marauders do not do very well against Zerglings at all, getting surrounds. Either do tanks, he needs Marines to counter this, or Helions. Tank gets the surround. He's going to lose this tank. He needs to pick it up with a medivac. Nowhere near it at all. In fact, these Zerglings could actually win the game right here. He's trying to kill them off. Medivacs are healing this Marauder here, but they are going to run out of energy eventually, and he's killed off. I mean, he lost a lot of Zerglings, but all he's got to do is come in here. SCVs will kill that off as long as the attack moves right now. He's choosing not to. Targeting down the mules, which is smart. Mules give you so much money. There it goes. SCVs turning around and attacking these Zerglings. They will kill it off. That will give him such a... Like, he will lose SCVs doing that. Just checking the income tab. Real quickly now, he is behind as we see more Zerglings streaming in. He realized that he killed his opponent's army, and if he keeps pushing in, he can do a lot of damage. He's a bunker at the top of this ramp. Helion here is going to be hard worked out. If he gets surrounded, it's going to be dead. Speedlings do that. Perfect surround. That is dead, and this should be game right here. JD doesn't have any units to be able to stop this, and even BMing him by building banelings in his own base. Doesn't need to do this. Helion comes out, just basically captured straight away by those Zerglings. But yeah, this is pretty much game from here. He just keeps streaming. I'm just looking at this right now. He just keeps streaming units in there now. No way to hold this off. Viking's coming out, which is useless. Just has nothing building, and he's getting his lair as well. And his banelings here basically kill most of his SCVs. That is game right there. And JD will go 1 down in the semi-finals. There we go. GG call. So well played by Guppy there as random, getting Zerg, showing that he's a pretty good Zerg player. Played quite differently to the last time. He went very drone heavy last game. This game just was forced to make Zerglings and started to counterattack with them. So well played. We'll move on to game 2 now.